morning, folks out in the interweb. How you doing? Chappie here. Beautiful Wednesday morning. Let's talk a little bit here. So, if the basic idea of soldiering, being a soldier, has kind of been it's like in my DNA. From the youngest I can remember, I was fascinated with soldiers, with the military. And I've always obviously went on to be a soldier and a chaplain as well. It's just been a phenomenal ride. One of the things I remember early in childhood, though, was I loved war movies. I loved them. The first one I really distinctly remember was the movie A Bridge Too Far came out. And oh boy, that's one of my favorite ones. If you ever get a chance, pick it up, take a look at it. It's an awesome movie. It's a long movie, but it's awesome, and it's basically about Operation Market Garden during World War II. Something really stood out to me, though, in those early days. When the airborne forces had landed in Holland for this operation and were seizing the bridges, something stood out about them. Not just the fact that they were Americans and the best out there, but the fact that on their uniforms, when they had landed, every one of them wore an American flag. And that has always stood out to me, especially in the movie. I'm like, yes, the American forces are on the ground. It was phenomenal. Now, I got my chance to join this and have this experience when I arrived at Fort Stewart right before Desert Storm, as Desert Storm was kicking off, and they issued us our desert uniforms. And then they all issued us flags and said, hey, go get these flags sewn on. Folks, that was so awesome. I mean, walking out of that sew shop with the flag sewn on, I mean, you felt, the feeling was, I can't describe the feeling. You were an American soldier, you were walking around, you were displaying your flag. We deployed, obviously, flags the whole time. And I think after that, overall, the policy became that every soldier, whether you were wearing your green camouflage or your desert camouflage, you had the American flag on, regardless. I know in Germany it was for sure, but it meant a lot, and it really truly does mean something when we have it on our uniforms. I mean, it's a statement of pride. It shows who you are. You're an American soldier. What I want to share with you a little bit today is also a spiritual side to this. Oh, actually, I got a note. When I was with the basic training unit, soldiers would, they'd go through their several weeks of training and finally come to kind of like the high point of the training, which was the field exercise at the end. And they would do the 12-mile march out, 12-mile march back, and there was always what they call the rites of passage. And the particular unit I was with, they just, as a symbol of making it through the rites of passage and getting ready to graduate and go on to become American soldiers, they gave out these little values cards. And I thought, well, that's cool. I mean, show values. I mean, that's neat. But to me, it was kind of always cheesy. I always thought to myself that the soldier should start basic training without the flag on his shoulder. And when they did the rites of passage, they should get their flag to put on their shoulder. And I always kind of pushed that with the leadership. It never really took, but I thought it would have worked better than the little card. So, but now let's go to the spiritual side here. Well, in the church we do have a flag. Our Anglican Church has the flag of St. George. But we're not wearing uniforms. We're not walking out there around with flags on our shoulders. But there is a way, though, that we do display our faith. Now, some people do it real, like wearing a cross or something, or carrying a Bible. I mean, those are obvious ways we do it. But do you realize that each and every day you go out as a Christian, that you do, in a sense, display your flag? You display who you are in what you do. It's called your Christian witness. It's how you live life. And people don't realize it or not, but people look at you and they can see your witness as you go around doing things in your daily walk, at your job, at the coffee shop, at play. So we do, in a sense, have this element where we are displaying our flag. We are Christians. We show our faith to other people. And I think this is critical. I think you should try to do it every single day. I mean, folks, if you're a Christian, you're walking around grumpy all day, or you know, your speech is not as edifying as it should be. You might want to get down and pray a little bit and rethink kind of your approach to how you're doing things here. But we are supposed to be a witness out there. People are supposed to look at us and say, something's different about you. Wait a second. Do you know Jesus? Are you a Christian? And especially when you reach out and serve and minister to somebody, that's a critical moment there. Because when they do see your Christian witness, when they do see what you do in your daily life, you're more likely to bring people closer to God, closer to Christ. And that's the goal, folks. That's the goal as Christians. So remember that. Like I said, I always loved the uniform in general when I was wearing it. I mean, it spoke volumes about who you are. It told your story. I mean, on one side you had your unit patch that said, hey, this person belongs to this division. On the other side you had your flag and your combat patch, which spoke volumes. Someone walked in with a combat patch and you had a bunch of people that had never been there. Oh yeah, people would look over and they would know you have seen things that they have never seen at that point. So I think it was very advantageous to be in the uniform at that time. I'd just like to encourage you today, folks. I entitled this, Wear Your Flag. As you go out, you know, be strong, be courageous, and don't be afraid to show your faith to those around you. Walk like lions.